Hello and welcome to Earthling Mushroom Farm's course on how to grow mushrooms for absolute beginners. First off, it's genuinely cool that you're here. The fact that you're even curious about growing mushrooms puts you in a small but rapidly growing group of people who are starting to think differently about food. This course is designed to get you started from zero. Whether you're growing as a hobby, a science experiment, a side hustle, or with the dream of launching a full-scale farm, this is your starting point. My name is Sam and I've been growing mushrooms for nearly a decade. I started growing extremely small, just experimenting in my garage. And after a lot of trial and error, I figured out how to grow consistently and found local customers and eventually opened a warehouse farm in Orlando, Florida, in the USA. We scaled up to almost a ton of fresh mushrooms per week, supplying big resorts, theme parks, and restaurants around the city. We also supplied grow kits and taught over 60,000 people in the USA to grow mushrooms from our kits. And fast forward to now, we've moved across the world and started growing mushrooms here in Thailand, where we now supply over 80 restaurants in Bangkok, including several Michelin-starred restaurants. We also support other farms with bulk inoculated substrate, cultures, and growing supplies. And we have a whole line of medicinal mushrooms, medicinal mushroom products, fresh mushroom boxes, and other mushroom goods that we offer through grocery stores, our website, and at our farm tour experience. I got sucked into mushroom growing, and I'm here to make sure the same happens to you. This is a beginner-friendly 12-part series, and we're going to cover all the basics in a way that's easy to follow and totally unpretentious. You don't need any fancy equipment, and you don't need to start with spores in a petri dish. We'll look at what mushrooms actually are, because they're not plants. We'll break down how they grow, what they eat, and how to grow mushrooms in buckets or bags, and even how to do it with cardboard scraps. You'll learn how to avoid contamination, where to get good spawn, substrate, or cultures, how to harvest, cook, store, and even sell your mushrooms. You'll start to get a sense of how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Because the more you learn about mushrooms, the more you realize you don't know. And that's part of the fun. This hobby has a way of taking over in a good way. One day you're growing oyster mushrooms on straw, and the next you're reading about medicinal polysaccharides and designing fruiting chambers. It can become a passion, a business, or just a deeply satisfying skill to have. Speaking of business, this isn't just a quirky gardening project. Growing mushrooms, especially medicinal varieties like reishi, lion's mane, and cordyceps, can be highly profitable. And with growing concerns around food security, health, and quality ingredients, the demand for homegrown functional foods has never been higher. So whether you're here to grow something weird and beautiful for fun, or take the first step towards something larger, this is the place to start. My first advice is to take your time, and don't get discouraged if the vocabulary or process feels overwhelming at first. This is normal. This is one of those skills where you learn by doing and failing, learning again, and then slowly leveling up. So we're going to help you every step of the way. If you're ready to dive in, go straight to part 2 right now. We're going to break down what mushrooms really are and why that matters if you want to grow them. You'll find the next video linked below, and the full playlist is pinned in the comments. I highly suggest you don't skip around between the different parts. Watch this series in order. Each step builds on the last, and it'll make a lot more sense this way. So if you're finding this helpful already, please give it a like so other people can see it, and hit subscribe if you want to see the rest of the series as it drops. But all right, go watch part 2 now. Let's grow some mushrooms.